Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I thought it would be a good idea because I never know what's going to be the best video to show when I'm doing a video. To just do a talk while my account, my game auto fights the apothecary, which I still feel like every time I say that word, it's weird. Because this is an example of the larger issue of this video. So, as we know, Kabam has taken away most sources for revive farming. It's one of their main goals of changing the game's economy. And I know. Every time I use the word economy, I laugh because I sort of think it's kind of cool, and maybe that's weird, but I'm the economy of the game guy. I was Mr. Negative for 6 years, and I still am, I guess, in people's eyes. But now, when people say the economy of the game has changed forever, they think of me. And I'm not saying that they think of me in a positive way, but they think of me in a way. And that's, you got to have a legacy in somebody's life, even if it's a negative one. It's kind of cool to have one. But Kabam has tried to change the economy of the game forever for free-to-play players, especially in the past year. You free-to-play players, they want to kill you off. And look, I don't think in the economic situation we're in, where video game companies, even major ones, are laying off hundreds, sometimes thousands of employees, talented employees that are great at their jobs, because the video game economy itself is so volatile that you can have a great hit like Spider-Man 2, but then if you have a couple flops, you're done. It reminds me of YouTube. I used to hope that my videos would get 1,000 views. Now I'm happy when they get 100. Because most of the people who have subscribed to this channel and just haven't left it technically haven't played the game for over a year. So yeah, technically they've subscribed to me, but they don't play this game anymore. They're not going to watch my channel. And I'm so thankful for the people that do. And I'm still shocked at how many people still do. Way more than I would think at this point. But I'm saying that to say you can't count on the things that you used to be able to count on, especially during the pandemic where so many people were home and were bored and were looking for an escape because they couldn't leave their house. We have more options than ever for our entertainment. And I think for like the best and the biggest media content creators, from YouTube to you name it, they're going to be fine. But so many people who are like mom and pop smaller channels like this one, it's just not a climate where you're going to grow your channel. It's a climate where you're going to just kind of hang on and be thankful for the scraps of views and attention, whatever you want to call it in this attention economy that you get. And it's in that spirit where I actually kind of enjoy YouTube more now that my channel is smaller, because I don't feel as much pressure to keep up the impossible standard that I had for at least 4 years. Because that pressure is unsustainable for my own mental health. And oh boy, you're auto fighting and then the game crashes. That is actually quite an appropriate analogy to the economy of the game crashing for free-to-play players. I believe Kabam wants to kill as many free-to-play players as possible. They want to not kill your ability to play the game, but they want you to be tempted to actually spend something, anything. If you're not going to buy the Black ISO store and you're not going to buy the $5 unit card, well, then we're going to try to get you in this unit store to buy a $2 crystal offer. Sometimes we've seen dollar crystal offers, just something to say that you're giving us your cash. Because when this game was really healthy, I don't know what percent of people were free to play. I'd imagine it could be as much as 10%. But that 10% model is not sustainable in 2024 for their business because the whales aren't spending as much. And we saw that during the gifting/banquet event. It cost a lot less to be in the top 50 than it ever has during the holiday event, which I think is awesome because it gives people who can't afford 6 figures of spending a chance to get the best stuff. But it also is a reflection of how much people either have to spend or are willing to spend in this game. So the apothecary was supposed to take the place of revive farming, We know that has not happened. We know that that is not the case. But we also know that if Kabam is thinking about nerfing Hercules, Hercules is a free-to-play player's dream. Because once you have him, you've essentially won the game. And this is the kind of game that you're never supposed to win. Because the minute you feel like you've won, Kabam makes a new counter for the big, bad champion, Magic had Blade. Right? But who's the Hercules counter? Danny? Moonstar? Not really. There is no Hercules counter. So the reason why Kabam Mike made the statements he made, I think, before he backtracked, is because he doesn't want people who spend almost no money, or who definitely spend no money, to be able to clear so much content. And yes, objectively speaking, that hurts Kabam's bottom line to have a player like Hercules or a champion like Hercules so good. But for 3 years, you've known that's the case, and you've still made a ton of money. So it actually should motivate people who designed this game to make more content like Necropolis. Because Hercules was a terrible option for Necropolis. If you use Hercules for Necropolis, you're going to be using hundreds of revives more than you would with Aegon or so many others. Kate Bishop, Shuri, list goes on and on. So it's not like he just steamrolls all content. If I'm Kabam, I just make more content with nodes that limit his utility and punish people who only use him. But you don't actually directly nerf the champion himself, which is what they've done with Magic and Quake. But the difference between, especially with Ascension, a rank 6 6-star Hercules versus a rank 6 5-star Magic or Quake is so huge that it's historically hurting their bottom line. Kabam right now is leading a war against free-to-play players. But I think free-to-play players have the upper hand because Hercules exists, and there are so many ways to get like that level 1 revive, which is not much that I just got, maximum value. By the way, sorry if you're hearing sirens going on in the background. There's apparently some pretty bad car accident down the street for me, which is kind of terrifying because it makes me sad that people are hurting and their lives are potentially at risk. So when you talk about 4-hour crystals, great way for free-to-play players to stack up. Obviously, the arena is free-to-play stomping grounds where you get free units and you open crystals that turn into bonus everything. That siren is crazy loud. This is the life of a YouTuber, by the way, especially in 2024. Here's what I want to say to wrap this video up, because as usual, it's time to make sure this doesn't go to 10 minutes. I think free-to-play players shouldn't be discouraged. I think they should just be confident, if anything, in the fact that they haven't given... Like, I've given maybe close to $30,000 worth of purchases to this company in this game, and I don't regret it, but a large portion of that non-regret comes from the fact that I can justify it with this YouTube channel. And even if I only make $100 this next month from YouTube, that's still a free Odin worth of purchases. That's still $100 more than anybody else that's not a content creator would have to justify this game. So I'm very blessed to be able to say that. At the same time, if everybody went free to play, this game wouldn't exist. And I do think we would miss it. We would miss the community most of all, though. Kabam wants free-to-play players to start spending. I'm not saying you should, especially if you can't. But you've also got to understand, and we've got to understand as a community, they're being pressured to make more money than ever before this year. And they're not going to do it. Because the people that are going to spend that kind of money are gone. Crystal Opening Whale's not coming back. So many of the other whales are not going to spend 20 grand this year on it. So you're left with the middle class of players, people that you should respect a lot more than you should give a reason to stop spending.